Welcome back. Look at the screen. What do you see? You see a flood of text. You see urgency. You see claims of salvation, of ruin, of betrayal, of victory. And on the other side of that glass, what is the market doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The tape is blank. There are no measured moves available for this episode. Silence. Perfect, terrifying silence. And that is exactly where you need to look, because when the numbers stop speaking, the rhetoric screams. Today, we are not chasing prints. We are dissecting the noise. We are looking at the timing of a panic that doesn't need to be real, because it is being manufactured in real time. Let's start with the moral high ground, or what passes for it in this era. He announces, with the flair of a head surgeon and the authority of a commander-in-chief, that Medicaid will no longer fund gender transition surgeries and hormones for minors. He calls them barbaric. He calls them unthinkable and irreversible harm. He speaks of innocent children, and young, innocent, and perhaps confused children. The language is visceral. It is designed to trigger a protective instinct so deep it bypasses logic. He frames this not as policy, but as rescue. Just think about all of the young who will be spared. He contrasts this with the Democrat Party, whom he accuses of wanting kids to cop off their reproductive organs. It is a binary choice, safety or mutilation. And he ties it to the ballot box with a direct, urgent command. Please remember this when you are casting your vote in the midterm elections in November. The timing is not accidental. The moral outrage is being banked for November. But look at the tape. Does the market care about the moral framing of Medicaid? No. It gives no some figure to virtue signaling or vice shaming. It only reacts to the bottom line, which in this silence is nowhere to be found. Then we pivot from the sanctity of the body to the sanctity of the nation's soul, or at least its history. He touts a new book by Todd Starnes called The Golden Age, How Trump Saved America. He says everyone is raving about it. He shares the link. It is soft power. It is narrative control. But he doesn't stop there. He needs to prove the strength of that narrative with hard proof. So he brings home Robert Gilman, a former Marine, imprisoned in Russia since 2022, released after discussions with Putin, very much on a humanitarian basis. No exchange. No one asked for in return. This is crucial. He emphasizes no exchange took place. Why? Because it signals strength. It signals that America does not need to bargain. It commands respect. Gilman lands at Andrews Air Force Base. His mother, Nancy, is on the plane, and his request, a great cheeseburger. It's a detail meant to humanize, to ground the geopolitical win in something simple, American, almost cartoonish in its simplicity. He lists his team: Steve Wickoff, Adam Boiler, Sebastian Gorka, Jared Kushner. These are names. These are players. He is showing the machinery of his administration at work. But again, where is the market's response to this victory? It is absent. The tape does not applaud. It does not wince, it just waits. But let's look at what he claims is breaking. New York City. He attacks the pie to terror tax with a fury that suggests personal stakes beyond politics. He calls it amateur hour. He says it is costing NYC and the state a fortune. But the money gained is very little compared to the taxes paid by tens of who knows how much of people fleeing. Florida and Texas are making an absolute fortune. This is a classic zero-sum narrative. New York loses, others win. He predicts financial and then social ruin is a 100% certainty. Note that figure, 100%. He repeats it for emphasis. It is his claim, his absolute certainty. He blames radical left jihadists for adding congestion pricing to the pile. He questions if the federal government has legal power to stop this disaster. He describes NYC becoming a filthy, crime-ridden, decrepit place of mockery and scorn. This is not just policy criticism, it is cultural condemnation. He is writing an obituary for a city while claiming to be its savior. And yet, the market remains mute. Does the tape know about the pied-a-terre tax? It has no voice today to say yes or no. The silence here is deafening. It implies that these battles are being fought in the court of public opinion, not the court of capital. And then the images. He posts a picture. A group of people inside a vehicle cabin holding an American flag. One person wears a blue shirt with partially visible texty massole. It looks like a welcome home photo, or perhaps a rally moment. It is visual proof of support, of unity, of the golden age he just promoted. But look closely at the context. He pairs this image with endorsements for Mike Lindell in Minnesota. Mike Lindell deserves a BGYN in Minnesota today. He calls Lindell's work hard, saying he'd given up so much fighting for free and fair elections. He urges viewers to vote none vote. This is cross-pollination of movements. The hostage win, the book tour, the state tax wars, and the Minnesota gubernatorial race are all tied together in one feed. It is an ecosystem of loyalty. The image of the flag in the car is not just a photo. It is a symbol of the return to power, of the America First ethos he claims to embody. But does the market read flags? No. It reads earnings. It reads interest rates. And today it has nothing to say. Finally, we return to the past, the Russia hoax. He shares 2 links from the New York Post. One headline, Obama's Trump-Russia collusion report was corrupt from Start-SIA review. The other, newly released documents open a path to the true origins of the Russia hoax. He is reopening old wounds. He is asserting that the investigations were not just wrong, but corrupt and a hoax. He uses these links to validate his current strength, both in foreign policy, bringing Gilman home, and domestic policy, protecting children. The narrative arc is complete. The past was a lie. The present is truth. The future is saved. But here is the critical moment. Look at the timing. He posts all of this Medicaid bans, hostage wins, NYC doom election calls, conspiracy theories, and the market does not blink. There is no measured move, no surge, no dip, just the raw, unfiltered voice of a man speaking to his base while the rest of the world watches in silence. The tape is not reacting because the tape is not listening to the story. It is only listening to the price. And today, the price has nothing to say. This is the disconnect. This is where the real work happens. Not in the market's reaction, but in the creation of the reality that makes the market irrelevant. That is the power at play here, not the number, the narrative. So what do we take from this? We take the urgency. We take the certainty. He claims 100% ruin for New York. He claims absurd liberal policies. He claims God bless America at the end of a victory lap. He is building a world where his word is the only metric that matters. But remember, the tape does not care about your word. The tape does not care about your cheeseburger or your flag. It waits for the data. And today there is no data, only words. So listen to the silence. That is where the truth hides, not in the shout, but in the absence of a rebuttal from the numbers. Because when the numbers stop talking, you know who is really in charge of the story. Thank you for watching or listening. The tape is silent. The show goes on. That's the show. We're on Spotify and YouTube. If this earned it, like, subscribe, tell a friend. And housekeeping. The machine that writes this gets tuned constantly for cleaner news. The numbers are real. The jokes are not.